Love, or the fear of losing it.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. So in this episode, we're going to talk about Q, and he is the third Esper that every player is going to get. And he is a very special Esper because he is your very first Simmer Esper. And for those of you who have played this game long enough, you should know that a Simmer Esper have a very unique ability that put them into a Simmer category. And for Q's case, his unique ability is Link. And this is an insanely strong debuff to have in every single RPG games out there. Because linking two enemies together, making your other Esper single target damage able to hit two targets at the same time, and effectively doubling their damage output. So it's just insane, and the damage output that gets doubled is a true damage. Even though it's only 80% of the damage dealt, but true damage means that the damage itself does not get affected by the enemy's defense. I'm going to get further into detail on the link, but first I'm going to show you his other skills. First skill attacks one enemy, damage 120% attack. This is a normal damage. 75% chance of inflicting defense down for 2 turns. Defense down, quite nice. It's going to increase your damage, enemy's damage taken, so it's always a must-have debuff in every single lineup that you have. And then attacks all enemies, damage 100% attack. This is also normal for an AoE damage. 100% attack is average. 75% chance of inflicting attack down for 2 turns. And take note that the cooldown itself is only 2 turns, meaning that you can put permanent attack down on every single enemies every single turn. And this is going to be really strong against bosses and long fights. So in Sentinel Hunt, in Falsetto Fantasy, in Temporal Tower and Infinite Tower, Q is a really strong asset to have if you still don't have any other Esper to use. But even if you have a lot of other Espers to use, like in Sentinel Hunt and Falsetto Fantasy, like obviously you do need 15 Espers to put there. So having Q in your lineup, getting him ready is never going to hurt. And then the third skill attacks to enemies, damage 180% attack. But the thing is that take note that this deals damage to 2 enemies, so in total Q actually deals 360% attack damage. And that is insane because Q himself have a very high basic attack stats. If you level him up to level 60, he has 1100 basic attack, which is considered quite average for every other main DPS as per stats. So, and also this puts links into your target, your enemies, and link is a silver debuff, meaning that it's a guaranteed 100% to land, and it lasts for 3 turns while the cooldown itself is only 3 turns. So having a cooldown of 2 turns and 3 turns is the specialty of almost every single rare Espers. So even though you have a lot of legendary to choose from, a lot of legendaries out there have like 4 to 5 turns cooldown on their skills, and in a turn-based game, a 1 turn cooldown extra is will feel very long. So 2 turns cooldown and 3 turns cooldown is already considered really fast. Now we're going to go into his growth here. Advancement, I do recommend you to not go beyond level 50 unless you do have those extra materials, but unless you are like a very late game player, even after you already reach end game, I don't really recommend you to go level 60 on Q, because even though he can deal insane amount of damage, the thing that you aim from to get from Q is his utility and his linking ability. So instead of wasting your material on Q, it's better to upgrade any other Esper because Q itself is already very useful at level 50. Now going to the resonance, just like any other rare Esper, the first, third, fifth, and sixth are only increasing your basic stats. The second one, when target's HP is above 50% damage plus 10%, this increases his damage further. And the fourth resonance, when an enemy is killed, speed plus 20. This is going to prove really useful because if you want to play Q, you do want him to have a very high speed. Like I do recommend to have above plus 100 speed because you do need to move before your main DPS deal damage, and to be more effective you do want him to move before any of your other support that can deal damage to your enemies, and link the enemy first before taking any kind of damage. That way you will double up all of your other lineups DPS, and linking is just really good to have. Like there is no downside to having link on your enemies unless the enemy can cleanse it right after your Q move. Now another benefit of having very high speed is that you can rotate much faster on your second skill, because this means that even if the enemy are able to cleanse your attack down, you can always going to put it again in the next turn because of this 2 turns cooldown. Having a very high speed on Q will never ever going to hurt anyone. And then after that, his other stats is just basics, like just a balanced, well-rounded stats for DPS. Exactly the same recommendation that I give you, just like a Brian. So above 10,000 bonus HP is recommended. Then attack, if Brian had like 2,500 and above, I do recommend Q to just only like above 2,000. Like you don't really need that high damage because he is not considered a main damage dealer, even though he can deal quite insane amount of damage using his link, but he is not really the main damage dealer that you are looking for. Because you do want to put more emphasis into the speed and also on his accuracy, because unlike Brian, his accuracy doesn't get any bonus from his ascension. So you can only get his accuracy from equipment. His ascension, the first one increase attack, second one increase defense, that is balanced. The third one increase the link duration from 2 turns into 3 turns. Obviously you're going to need to take this. And then the fourth one increases HP and then speed and then attack. So there is not a single bonus from ascension that increase your accuracy, even though he needs that accuracy really badly, because his debuffs only have 75% chance of getting hit on to hit his target. So that's why he requires accuracy to be at least like 70% or above. Recommended to go up until 80%. This one I don't really have high one on him, so don't follow this one. And critical rate just enough to deal critical damage, like 70% is already good, like plus 60%. So in total you do want to let your critical rate to sit at 70%, because if you do have other Esper that can give you critical rate up, the critical rate up increase 30% of your critical rate. So having above 100% critical rate is going to be useless. So 60% critical rate is already a soft cap for you. Now critical damage, like around 100% bonus is already alright. Just emphasize on the speed and the accuracy, and you should be fine on the other stats. Like you can just balance them out. That is my stats recommendation. And also the rival rune itself is already saying the same thing, giving him the Windwalker and also the Grove set for his survivability, just like Brian and Drew. Like, he doesn't have any built-in survivability, so having those extra health do help him quite a bit. But for me, I do give him the recurve set because he do need his accuracy much more than he needs his health. And then going to the Divinate when the enemy's HP is above 70%, lowers curse damage plus 15%. This is not level 6 yet, so this is not the maximum amount of damage, bonus damage that you can get. But the thing is that the Divinate itself is not really important because it only increases his first skill damage, which is not going to really affect much because the first skill damage usually is the weakest one among all the other skills, except for those espers that do rely on their first skill to deal damage. So his Divinate is not really something you need to chase for. Now, going back to the Link, the special thing about Link is that first one is his true damage. That's very much true. Like, it ignores the target's defense on the secondary target of the Link. So if you do link two enemies, like one squishy and one tanky, when you deal damage to the squishy one, the tanky one will feel really squishy because of this true damage. So you already you're ignoring like a lot of defense from the squishy target because the squishy target obviously doesn't have that high defense. So you already deal a high amount of damage, and then that will be copied to the secondary target, your second target, the one that gets linked, and that target will receive 80% of that damage, ignoring any kind of defense on the secondary target. So this is a really effective way for you to kill those esper that have a really high defense, like Donar, Changji, Clara, etc. Just try to link them with anybody else in the enemy's lineup and just target the other esper. That way you can kill the tanky one without even touching them. Now the second thing that is really good about this link is that it will share every single damage taken on that target, including debuffs, including damage over time, including a multi-hit, and every single thing will get shared. So percentage HP damage is also getting shared from both the actual skill damage and also from poison damage, and that is insane. Because if you can manage to get 12 stacks of poison debuffs on your enemies, one single poison debuffs deal 4% of the enemy's maximum HP. That means that 12 stacks of poison debuffs deal 48% of the enemy's maximum HP, and double that, increase that by 80%, you can already reach 90% of the enemy's maximum HP as damage. That is insanely good for Link. So we can go into the VR battleground here and see how the Link interact. I do already prepare here. So the Gabriel here is only for me to take the immunity so that none of our Esper is going to get stunned or taunted or killed. Now, I do want to show you the interaction between poison and also percentage HP damage. This is what is really important in here. So let's go. The rest you can figure it out by yourself. Like, obviously, if you do have a really strong single target Esper like Ana, Intisar, Elaine, or even Gaius, like Gaius Thunder will get share, so we will go into that. Gaius will be our secondary test later. So first we are gonna go with this, so protecting everyone with immunity so that we will definitely get our turn. Now I'm going to link this target and he chose this one. Now we're gonna slow this down and look at Meredith damage. This thing deals 30% of that enemy's maximum HP without any other outside interference. So if I deal damage to this guy, look at the damage that this guy take. Insanely good. Like that is percentage HP damage. So if I hit a tanky one instead of the squishy one, like the opposite of if you deal a single target damage to a squishy one to make the tanky one feels very squishy, if you go with Meredith, you aim for the tanky one instead. And that means that the tanky one who definitely have higher HP than the squishy one, like for example, if you have 60,000 HP on the tanky one, 30% of those HP is already 20,000, and a squishy target usually only have 20,000 HP. So you can actually already kill a squishy one by aiming for the tanky one using a percentage HP as damage. And now we're gonna put poison debuffs on all those enemies, and you can see the moment either one of this move, the other one will receive poison damage as well. So let's just go. I'm going to show you a single target damage getting shared here. So multi-hit also going to get shared. So if I hit this guy also going to get multi-hit. And look at that, that is the poison damage. Look at those poison damage, they both get shared. And that is the insane thing about this link. If you have like 3 targets or less, like the enemies, like usually in boss fights you only have 3 targets to choose from, this link will be insanely strong. Now we're gonna go and try to see what other possibilities we can have with Q. So probably if you have played this game long enough, you should know this Gaius here, his thunder hits 6 times to random enemies, and if you only have 2 enemies, that means that if you have Q, you can double up his thunder into striking 12 times. So how does it work? Let me show you an AoE. Like for example, like here's just imagine this, or maybe I can just show you with probably an AoE Esper. Let's just go with TA here, or not, or maybe I should just go with. I can just go with straight with Gaius then. Let's just go. So here's the thing. If you link to enemies like here, this skill is supposed to hit each enemies 3 times. Oh, I cannot really show you the link interaction. But if an AoE hit every single enemies once, then if Q managed to link 2 targets, that means that those 2 will share those hits that they take. So that means that if you hit a single target, a single hit AoE skill on all enemies, the 2 enemies that got linked will hit by that skill damage twice. Because the damage that this guy take will be shared to this guy, and the damage that this guy take will be shared to this guy. So both of them will receive that AoE damage twice, almost twice, because it only increased the damage by 80%. Now, what happens if the AoE is a multi-hit? Yes, if the multi-hit, that means that, look at this target. That means that the multi-hit is also shared. Like just now, Hilda, oh, apparently Hilda hit only one. Yeah, Hilda hit only once. So you saw just now these 2 got hit twice. You can just rewind the video and pause at that exact time Hilda hit that target. Now, what happened if Gaius hit them? So just like I said, if those 2 are the only one left standing, that means that Gaius, who is supposed to hit the enemy 6 times, meaning that the thunder will get shared among those two, so each one will receive hit 3 times. But because they got shared, the 3 hits that this guy take will be shared to this guy, and the 3 hits that this guy take will be shared to this guy. So both of them will get hit by thunder 6 times. That means that in total, Gaius actually throw 12 thunders, but that is only if those two are the only ones left alive here. So now because we have 5 targets, so and Gaius hit a random enemies using his lightning here. Of course, the 6 times lightning only happens if you manage to get Gaius to resonance 6. So usually you will have like 5 times here, and each one will only get hit once. That means that these two will get hit twice instead. So now let's just see the damage that Gaius will deal, and you can just pause the video and calculate its damage. And you will already see that this thing is insanely good. Like you can see that this guy received like twice the damage intake, and he is gone straight away. So that is the interaction for Link. Obviously, if you do have like a single target dealer Esper, like a single damage dealer Esper, like a really good one, usually those are like someone like Mateo, Embla, and then who else? Like Intisar. Intisar is my favorite to use together with Q, because Intisar, aside from dealing insane single target damage to a single enemy, she also deal percentage HP damage, and that percentage HP damage gets shared. Now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, because there is one particular Esper that is insanely good, but also quite a gamble if you do want to pair with Q, which is Changji. Changji swap the enemy's HP, and this swap can get Link. So if you manage to deal insane amount of damage using Changji's third skill here, and get lucky and hit the target with Link, that target Link, the damage that target will take will be shared to his partner. And Changji is very well known to be able to one-shot a lot of tanky Esper, and just imagine if you can share his damage to enemies. That is how good Q's Link is. And just like any other, just like the poison, like Javid's percentage HP damage together with Archibald's percentage HP damage can also be shared by Q, and also this one. Also Pandora's percentage HP damage can also be shared by Q. So that's why Q is insanely good even at late game. But the thing is that that is the only utility that he is good at. Like you can replace his attack down and defense down by using any other Esper, so his only good skill is only the Link. And that is true for every single rare Esper. Like a rare Esper only have one good thing that they can do, but that one good thing is that they are really good at doing that one single job. That is a rare Esper specialty. So if you do want to imagine the level for each Esper's type, like the rare one have only one job that they are good at. The epic Esper have 2 jobs that they are good at. Like for example, like Meredith is really good at dealing percentage HP damage. Like this 30% percentage HP damage is insanely strong, on top of giving a speed up to every single allies and also healing them. And he also have a bonus of being able to dispel the enemy's buffs 3 times, and also giving defense down and crit resist, which is really rare in every single support Esper. And then after that, going into the going into the legendary Esper, they all have all of their skills insanely good. So they have 3 jobs to do that they are good at. So that's how you judge every single Esper. But the thing is that the only thing that Q can do, the linking part, he is really good at doing that job, and he is the only one who can do that job. So if you do think that you want to use your Q, you can start experimenting from now on. But I do recommend that even for a veteran player, like you can find him out to be really useful for Falsetto Fantasy or Infinity Tower in some cases, that if you do require his expertise, you can, if you do remember about him, that you can try, oh okay, maybe I can use him in this particular scenario. That sometimes happens for me, because I also happen to try him out in PvP and also the real-time arena, and a lot of players didn't expect Q to be used in PvP, and they sometimes, most of the time, underestimating him, and they just realize that they are in deep trouble, in big trouble, the moment they lose 2 of their Esper within the same turn, because I shared the damage from the first one and killed the second one with the shared damage. So that's it for tonight's video, guys. Hope you learned something new about Q, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.